Welcome back to NASCAR Coast to Coast here on the Motor Racing Network. Kyle Rickey, Buddy Long, joined by Hannah Newhouse, who is playing with our Hercules.
Craig's not going to get on her for playing with the Hercules guys.
He yells at us.
Yeah, I heard you guys play with this frequently. I was like, I don't want to get on the bad side already.
Ago, but that's all right. What brings you to town? I know you emailed me a couple of weeks ago and said, hey, I just want to come and see how the show is done. You've been on the show a couple of times the last few years, and here you are, hoping, I guess, to make a move to the East Coast.
Yeah, definitely. Most of the time when I come through the Charlotte area, it's for a 48-hour period where I'm generally heading up east or heading somewhere else. And so I've never really got a chance to, take Charlotte in and really, get to see the racing background. I come from Boise, Idaho,
right.
So we don't have a lot of racing. So I finally scheduled a trip out here. I was like, you know what, I'm going to go out and I'm going to be a tourist, and I'm going to do it for 7 days is what I'm going to do. So I'm kind of out here more or less, hanging out, checking things out, and kind of lobbying around, looking for a place possibly to live and potential jobs and rides. So I was like, I need 7 days to do it. That way I can take all of it in.
So what's next on the agenda once you leave here? If you leave, you might find someplace.
Right. My parents might get a phone call. All right, start packing stuff up, guys. No, actually, this next weekend, so June 18th, I have a race at Meridian Speedway in the Big 5 Late Model Series. It's our biggest event of the year, so it's the Napa 125. So it's 125 laps in the super late model on that tricky little quarter mile, and I love that speedway. So
you're the point leader in that series after 2 races. Obviously, kind of bring us through the first 2 races, and obviously have found a lot of success there thus far this year.
Yeah, definitely. We're real excited to get back in the super late model. Meridian Speedway is one of my favorite tracks. I'm a short track racer at heart, so quarter mile is my favorite, which is funny because a lot of people don't like short tracks. But nope, we're excited. We're back in the super late model, and we were kind of going into it like, okay, it's 5 races. We need to get stuff done as quick as possible, but also take good finishes. And we were leading the very first race, and we were super excited to be leading it, and we got taken out with about 10 laps to go and rallied back to a 5th place finish, and we were like, uh-oh, this is not a good way to start the year off. And the next race actually got called short due to massive amounts of cautions, and thankfully I had a right front flat going down, so we were like, yes, they called it short. We were not going to end up well, and we finished second. I really think we had something for the leader, so that's a big confidence booster going into this 125 lapper, knowing that we were potential of a win 2 races in a row.
Now, you also run the trucks. I think you ran, the Diamond Cup over the weekend, or most recently?
Yeah, yep, we had a 2-day show at Meridian Speedway in the Pro Truck Series, which is a touring Pro Truck Series, and yeah, Diamond Cup was not nice to us. We normally either go there and do really, really well, or bad luck just bites us, and bad luck bit us hard this last weekend. I actually caught fire. I had an electrical fire Friday night, and we rewired everything, thought we had everything fixed because my motor was cutting out midway through the race, and went through most of Saturday. Everything was fine, good to go. Qualified like 3rd, I think, and started at the back of the main event, and 5 laps in, my motor started cutting out again, and we're like, uh-oh. So, of course, when your motor's cutting out, I made it all the way up to 2nd place, was battling for the lead, was going to win it, and my motor was just not having it, so we had to pull off. And so I went from a couple points out of 1st to I think I'm like 9th in points now. So, yeah, it was a tough break leaving Meridian this weekend.
Won a heat race, though, I believe, on Friday night maybe? I think I saw the interview online that you did with the PA announcer.
Yep, won the heat race Friday night, and I know, like I said, I knew we had a great truck both nights. My team did a amazing job of putting something together. Just bad luck just bit us.
Are you surprised when you, and Kyle and I talked about it earlier, NASCAR's presence in the state of Idaho, of all states? You traditionally think of this as a southern sport. Obviously, it's grown immensely over the years, in which we were just talking about a new track in Alaska. But not only to have 3 tracks in Idaho, but 2 of them run K&N Pro Series West events. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. Most of the time people ask me when I talk about being a race car driver, they're like, oh, where are you from? And I'm like, Idaho. And they're like,
Idaho?
Yeah, I was like, you guys have tracks out there? Like, what do you do, race around hay bales? And I'm like, no. So it's really cool not only to have 2 tracks that run K&N Pro Series events out there, but also have one that's basically my backyard. When I moved to Boise, Meridian Speedway was 5 minutes from my house. You can hear the race cars at night. So it's really cool to have something so close like that that's so connected now with NASCAR. And, I get to run the K&N Pro Series West event at Meridian again this year. So I'm really excited to make that return.
That's going to be my next question for you about your future. But let's talk about the last year and a half or so. Roller coaster ride for you. You started last year, full head of steam. You were going to run, I think, most of the NASCAR K&N Pro Series West season. Then you get hurt. Big wreck, 2 races in at Irwindale. You bounce back. I think you ran a 3rd event last year. You run an event earlier this year. How tough has this last year and a half been for you?
It's been a roller coaster. Like you said, I think you hit the nail on the head there. We went into last year very confident that, we're going to be competitive. We're going to go for the whole K&N Pro Series West because, I really wanted to get into the NASCAR Next program and really make those connections, because those are big connections to have, especially as a female in the sport. So we had one car, and our goal was we're going to run the first 3 races last year and then go from there. If we felt that we could be competitive, so we could pick up sponsorship along the way. And yeah, second event in, we had the incident at Irwindale where a motor blew directly in front of me, and I was the first one to hit it, and I ended up getting hurt too, so I was on medical leave. And it just, after that, like you said, it was just my late model series was like up and down between wrecks and blowing a motor, and it was just stuff that was out of our control. And we came back at Meridian, and actually we had a really good run going and got a right rear flat. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, that, I said that more times last year than I think I could have. So to come back this year, and we ran 7th at Irwindale at the beginning of the year, and we're really hoping to get another K&N race or 2 involved if sponsorship comes through. But we're definitely planning on the Meridian one, and then to be so excited about our super late models this year. So we're really pushing for the 2016 season.
And one of the other things that's been a challenge for you, and you mentioned in one of the videos that you did, was you fought a battle with so many people that said you're here because of your gender. And when you look, and I think it's safe to say and safe to ask you that at this very moment right now in racing, when you look at the female drivers in the K&N Series, both East and West, and the Wheel and All-American Series, there is a ton of very good female talent, some of the best we've ever seen right now.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see all that, because when I first started, I started off in a limited late model at Magic Valley Speedway, and there really weren't that many. You looked at the standings, and every 60th driver was maybe a girl. And so to now go into it, and there be tons of girls at Meridian Speedway, and you have 4 for the most part that compete on and off in the East Series, and myself and Landauer, who both compete on the West Series, and I'm in and out of the series, and she's full time. It's awesome to see these girls come through, because they're proving we're not here just because of our gender. Obviously we can compete with everyone who's not a female.
For those that still are getting to know Hannah Newhouse, you've been in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series the last several years, in or out. You've been on this show a couple of times. How'd you get into the sport of motorsports? What got you behind the wheel for the first time?
My dad was a motocross racer and was like, my kid's not getting on a dirt bike, because if you see him, he's got a half metal leg basically from hurting himself on dirt bikes. And so he made the transition when he was hurt on a dirt bike into go-karts. So, casted leg, I can drive a go-kart. So he did go-karts and eventually, moved into modifieds and super late models. And when us kids came along, 5 years old, he stuck me in a go-kart and said, all right, let's see if she likes it. And little did he know, he was in for it with me. So that's kind of how we got into it. And, we still dabble in and out of dirt bikes. We actually were in Idaho City for a off-road race this last Sunday, and it was 106 miles, and my dad rode it and finished first in his class. Wow. I'm like, you still got it, old man. Like, you're still digging.
Glen Morgan go-kart track, right? Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was on the video. I didn't know that.
I was
Even
like,
though
wow,
I'm in karting full time, I did not remember that. But part of that video it was really a good video, one of the many ones that you did. Who's the youngster that's out there? The little blue number 6 kart. It looks like a little kid kart that's out there. I know that's not you. You're beside them, kind of giving them encouragement.
Yeah, it was really cool. Actually, that was the first time I'd met the little girl, and I actually haven't gotten to go out to the go-kart track since then. And we were out there just filming the video, and she happened to be out there, and the producer, Brenna Malloy, was like, that little girl is a little you. Like, someone couldn't, if they casted a movie, she would be the perfect little you. And so it was so cool to have her out there in her pink suit, and she was ripping around, and I was like, holy flashback. Like, this is crazy. Because that was me, she was 6 years old, and her dad was out there in a go-kart as well, coaching her on the track, and it was super cool. One of my questions I asked her was, so do you beat all the boys? And she goes, no. And I was like, that's okay, you'll get there. Like,
you mentioned you're over here on the East Coast, meeting a lot of new folks. Who are some of the people that have helped you along the way get to this point, and hopefully will be helping you get to the East Coast here by the end of 2016?
Yeah, I really have to give a huge thank you, of course, to Thompson Motorsports. They really gave me my first push in stock car racing. I got into a truck with our own family equipment when I was around 13, and Thompson Motorsports saw me and said, let's see what she can do in a NASCAR program, because they know the push that NASCAR has. And we ran the Wheel-In Series with them. Then we made super late models, a pro truck, and also my K&N West debut with Thompson Motorsports. And they still support me so much to this day, even though we've branched out different ways. And, Jefferson Pitts Racing, which is a familiar name in the West Series now, they gave me the opportunity in Irwindale, and they'll give me the opportunity again, hopefully in Meridian this upcoming year. And So as far as teams, I owe a huge thanks to them and my crew guys at home that run on our personal equipment. But Boise State University came on in 2014, and they were a huge door opener for us as well. It was cool to have a college come on, and I'm scholarship, so I'm a student athlete NASCAR driver is how my contract is written out, and that was we were one of the first schools to really dabble in that. You see colleges on race cars, but not contracted through scholarship to be an athlete for the schools. So that was a really cool thing to do.
And I remember that, and I think I shared that with you on Facebook or something, how cool it was. Was it a bowl game or was it just a Boise State, a weekly college football game that was on national TV? But as they came back from commercial break, the announcers were talking about and showed the picture of you in your Boise State car. It was so awesome. It's like, oh, my God. It blew my mind. I mean, we've seen you guys on television doing races, but when you are at a major college football game, and all of a sudden they come back to the broadcast and it starts with a still shot of you. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll never forget that, actually. It was a San Diego State versus Boise State home game. And I was actually in Las Vegas racing at the Bull Ring for the Fall Classic. And people were texting me like, we were getting game updates throughout the day, and they were like, we just saw you. Oh, my gosh, are you at the game? And I'm like, well, if I was at the game, I wouldn't be having you text me updates, for one. But no, I'm in Vegas racing. And they're like, we just saw you. Oh, my gosh. And then, of course, I didn't DVR the game. So I'm like, oh, I can't find it. Like, I want to see myself on TV. It was so cool. But yeah, that was unplanned. So it was really cool for them to do that and to see, like you said, myself in the middle of an ESPN game break. Like,
absolutely.
what?
Absolutely.
You have marketed yourself well the last couple of years. That seems like it's half the battle these days for a lot of the young kids trying to break into, heck, just even a super late model program, but especially the K&N series and the National Series.
Yeah, it's been a challenge. I never really, with my family, we never really had a big background in racing. My dad was a first-generation race car driver, so for me to come along, and he just kind of did local super late model stuff. We never really thought we were going to take it anywhere. So when I decided that I wanted to make this a career, hopefully, he was like, I don't know how to help you. I've helped you as far as I can. So I really took it upon myself to learn any more of the social media gig. Social media is huge in the world of racing, and to be able to market myself. And, I, starting at 14 years old, was the one that went in and talked to the sponsors. So the 14-year-old was the one calling the sponsors and saying, hey, we need to have a meeting. And then they were surprised when I walked in. And so it's been a huge part, and I'm glad that I've learned that, because that's something that I feel I have maybe an upper hand, as I've been so hands-on with the development of my own career.
Kyle mentioned, was asking you some of the people that have had a big impact on your racing career. It sounds like Lynn St James had a lot to do with that as well.
Yeah, Lynn St James, actually, was 2013. I became a part of her Project Podium program, and it was really cool for her to recognize that. And I actually had the opportunity to hang out with her in Phoenix. I made a start in Phoenix with the K&N Pro Series West, and she was like, can I come out and watch? And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And she was walking around with me, and it was so cool because people would walk by. They were like, oh my gosh, it's Lynn St James. I'm like, I know, she's hanging out with me, guys. Like, this is so cool.
What time's running thin here? Time flies, man,
It
when we have a in-studio guest. And what's the rest of your week in Charlotte look like? Once you leave here, what's on the agenda?
Dinner with Amber Balkan, right?
I saw that.
Yes.
Speaking of another one of the female ladies wanting to get into to motorsports here on the East Coast from Canada.
Yeah, no, my week's it's pretty up in the air. It's pretty easy going. I'm hoping to go check out actually a couple race shops after this. Hope to go maybe stop by my Rev Racing family. I've been at the Diversity Combine a couple years, and so I'm hoping to go visit the Rev Racing shop and see a couple other shops, as well as, like you said, dinner with Amber Balkan. And I got a lot of friends out here, and so I'm hoping to spread my time out evenly, because we only see each other at the racetrack. So, and of course, I have to spend a day on Lake Norman. Like,
there you go.
That is the day.
You and everybody else.
Right.
That lives around here.
I know.
Good luck with all that traffic over there.
Right.
Speaking of traffic, you had a bout with traffic yesterday, to no one's surprise, here in Charlotte.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to-
I complain about Boise traffic. Like,
Is it bad? Is Boise bad?
okay, well, that's the thing. I thought it was bad till I came here. And then, like, I was on my way here today, and I got stuck in traffic, and then I got lost, and I was like, oh my gosh, if my GPS does not work one day, I'm going to be in so much trouble.
And
Oh,
you'll be in
my.
traffic on your way to Rev as well, so best of luck with that.
Perfect. Well, at least I can plan my.
I
I'll be
can
like,
take
I can
her.
be there in
I can
45
take her.
minutes.
Right. You work right
I'm
next
in
door.
the same complex as Rev Racing.
Hey,
I know
there you
exactly what
go.
it is. I do get lost from here going back to work some days, only on purpose.
Only-
Only on purpose. Only on purpose.
All right, Hannah, thanks for joining us. Best of luck to you the rest of the season. Glad to see you here in studio, and I guess I'll see you when next? In December, maybe, at the banquets?
You'll see me Monday.
Oh,
at the
summer
shootout.
Summer shootout.
Yeah,
Starts
I'll be
Monday
at
the
at
summer
Charlotte Motor
shootout.
Speedway, so that'll be fun. Hard to believe it's that time of the year already. Hannah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.